All right, guys, with that down, let's go on to our next topic here, shall we, Paris? What do we got up next?
Yeah, well, obviously one of the biggest pieces of movie news in recent years was that Hugh Jackman was coming out of his Wolverine retirement to play the Canadian X-Men once again in Deadpool 3. Now, many people are speculating that this isn't just a one-off, but that Kevin Feige plans on using Hugh Jackman as the ongoing Wolverine in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Forbes itself even wrote that he's almost certainly not going to be replaced after Deadpool 3. And it seems likely that in addition to leading Fox's X-Men, he's going to stay around for the MCUs as well. So John, what do you think the chances are that Hugh Jackman stays on for the Wolverine for the MCU?
Slim. I'll be honest, still slim. But like you mentioned, there's a very interesting article in Forbes that I want to go over in a second here. But ever since they announced that Hugh was coming back to be in Deadpool, because remember, he had retired. He was like, he played the character for over 20 years. It's like, okay, I'm done. I'm finished. I've wrapped it up. And what a beautiful swan song with Logan. So then he gets talked into coming back for Deadpool, which is something I think they planned for many years. Because, I mean, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have been laying the groundwork for this on social media with their fake feud for years and years and years and years and years. But there's always been this discussion ever since they announced it that no, a lot of people believe he's going to stay around. Now, Forbes articulates this in an article that they wrote today that I thought was very interesting. I thought we'd address that here. So Forbes said this. They said, first, it's that main question I just said. At the baseline, it would feel weird to have a new Wolverine for the first time in 25 years across multiple X-Men movies and 3 solo features. No one else in the history of comic book movies has played a superhero role this long or this often. But bringing Jackman in for Deadpool and Wolverine, and rumor has it the Avengers films, at the end of the multiverse saga, would make replacing him shortly after even more unlikely and unwelcome. Then this was reinforced by a new quote from Ryan Reynolds promoting the film, saying out loud the concept here, there's only been one Wolverine. The reason is no one can do it except him. Jackman on stage just stands there smiling, not denying or shaking his head. Rather, he flashes a peace sign. I certainly think that other people could play Wolverine, but again, it's not in a situation that makes sense. Okay, so Forbes, the writer at Forbes, clearly believes that not only is Hugh Jackman now in for Deadpool and Wolverine, but that he's going to be around for a while. And what he says makes sense. He raises valid points, right? That like getting him back as Wolverine right now, that will probably be the biggest film of the year. And having everybody excited and everybody euphoric, provided that the movie is good, which it's sounding more and more like it is. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then it would be, to Forbes's point, a very weird time to then just pluck him away again and say, okay, glad you enjoyed that. Remember how mad people got, irrationally so, when we got John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic for a minute in Doctor Strange 2, only to find out later that he wasn't going to be our ongoing. And instead of being happy that we got John Krasinski to appear as it, people got instead pissy. That, well, why isn't he staying around? It was like, because they wanted to give you what you asked for. They give you, you got to see him once. Anyway. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Miracle Made. Guys, it's hot outside and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. So if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. There are just so many things that make these sheets so fantastic. We already mentioned the self-cooling properties for better quality sleep, but they're also self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. So go to trymiracle.com/Campea. That's TRYMIRACLE.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. So Forbes is making the point that it'll just feel weird to pull him away again, and it's a valid point. I, however, still disagree. And I might be wrong, 100%. I don't know for a fact. I'm just telling you as a fan why I currently disagree. Number one, we're talking about starting a whole new era in the MCU. And here's a reality. While this is still young-ish, Hugh Jackman is 55 years old. He's 55. Now, the reason I bring up his age is because he brings up his age. When he was wrapping up Logan, one of the things, you guys remember this, you all read this, when he was wrapping up Logan, and he was talking about that this was his last hurrah, a couple of the big things that he pointed out was, I'm older now. And the big thing he pointed out was, I can't stay in the shape that I want to. You have no idea how many hours every day, the type of diet I have to eat, the type of workouts I have to do, all that kind of stuff. And it's getting harder, and it takes longer and longer and longer for me to stay in that shape. And he strictly said, don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to live my life this way anymore. So the idea that they were able to get him out for one last hurrah because the whole world wanted to see Wolverine and Deadpool together, I get it. He got back into the gym. He posted on social media every day, him pumping insane amounts of weight, and he clearly got himself back into fighting shape for this movie. But does he want to do that for 5 more years? Does he want to do that till he's 60?
I would love for him to stick around until he's 60, but he deserves a break. It's a crazy lifestyle, staying that in shape. I think he deserves this retirement, but I don't want to see him go. I'm going to be a little bit, I think, pessimistic about anyone who replaces him. I just can't see it.
And I think everybody will, right? Everybody will feel that way. Now, somebody in the live chat, EC says, actors typically have to get into shape for movies. Not the type of shape he's getting into. Not that kind of in
bending
shape.
the barbell,
zero body fat
from the weight. Come on.
Yeah, no, they don't have to get into that kind of shape. Yes, every once in a while, you'll get your Glenn Powell. But guess what? Glenn Powell ain't 55.
Yeah.
Right.
The 55-year-olds aren't typically getting in that kind of shape.
Yeah, and I think, if anything, while I understand Forbes's point, and I think it's well made, that, it would be really weird to replace him after this. To me, this is the best time to replace him. You know why? Because it means Wolverine doesn't do his goodbye in a Fox movie. It means he does his goodbye where it should be, in a Marvel movie. It gives him that chance to come back for one last hurrah and then ride off into the sunset under the Marvel banner. And then once that's done, and we're heading into whatever Avengers 5 is going to be called, and then Avengers Secret War, there is no better time to introduce us to a brand new Wolverine.
Do you think they might possibly tease this goodbye in Deadpool and Wolverine? Mm-hmm. Like, they're going to let us know.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be teased. I think it'll be explicit. Again, I don't know. I haven't seen the film. Yeah. I don't know. I could be totally wrong about this. 100% I could be wrong about this, and that's fine. We're just speculating as fans here. But, yeah, I think... Now, there are some people speculating that we're actually going to get introduced to the new Wolverine in this movie. I don't think it's going to go that far. I think they're going to reserve this for Hugh to be his goodbye and to keep the focus on him. Again, I could be wrong about that. Maybe they introduce a new Wolverine.
And speaking of Wolverine, I hate to go off topic, but...
Since when do you hate going off topic?
I kind of think
they
you like
just released the Aviation Gin bottle
For Wolverine.
The Wolverine one.
That.
Yeah,
So that's
again,
really cool.
Ray talking about things that none of the rest of us can
I'm
see.
just saying,
It
he's
is
not
Wolverine though, and
I'm
it's
just
Ryan
saying,
Reynolds.
you know what I
company.
mean? If it's his last run, why not buy this bottle? You know,
I-
a collector's edition.
I wouldn't say this is off the rails. It's just like adjacent. I guess that's still technically
Can
off
you
the
get
rails,
the
but it's
picture?
not.
Yeah, and I want to see it.
Yeah,
I'll
because
get
now
the
we're talking about
let's just
something that
have
the
Ray
audience isn't.
describe it to us.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, we've got
Because you
we've
have
got
the Deadpool one.
the Deadpool Aviation Gin,
And we
that
knew
got
there was
sent
going to be a
me.
Wolverine one coming out. There's actually supposed to be 6
I didn't-
different ones. I don't know what the other 4
Yeah, I got it
are.
right here.
All right, let's take a look at this.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
So if
Still
I
the
had
smoked
to,
glass, but I like that.
That's
pretty.
classy.
yeah, put that with the Deadpool
We'll
one.
have
Come
to
on.
get that and put it beside.
Yeah, beside it.
The Deadpool bottle.
Orion.
Yeah, Ryan, can you send me this one? So yeah, so at the end of the day, I think this is the perfect time to say goodbye. It gives you a great clean sheet to bring in a new one. Listen, if Hugh Jackman was 48, 48, hell, 50. If Hugh Jackman was just 50,
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, but to start a whole new phase of playing Wolverine, a character that, unlike Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, he's just wearing CGI armor the whole time. Like, you gotta look.
That's, by the way, that's legit. Someone didn't Photoshop that. That's on like a liquor store's thing, like for their advertising.
Really?
Yeah. That's legit.
Did you see the Bachelorette ad?
Yes,
Oh my
it was
God.
epic. It was I loved it.
Like, you know what? And when it comes down to it, like, he's given all these years to us.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
if he
Yeah.
says goodbye, I don't see anyone having a problem with it. They shouldn't. I mean, he's given us more than we asked for. Bad movies, good
way
movies.
more. Yeah, you're right.
He's played
Yeah.
'em-
Yeah.
he's played 'em-
And again, he's 55.
He could just hand it off to a younger version of himself. Like,
That would be great.
it does
Yeah.
because, like, if you look at a movie like Looper, like JGL doesn't look like Bruce Willis, but you also believe that was a younger version of him. So it
Oh,
could
yeah.
be like Radcliffe or anyone who else, Efron, whatever,
not
and it could be.
Daniel.
But it could also
I'm
be
just
a
saying,
totally
anyone.
Yeah,
different.
but yeah.
It could be like
It
a
doesn't have to
totally.
be-
It doesn't have to be somebody who looks like a young. It can be a completely new Wolverine.
And he's like, that's younger me, or yeah, you're right, whatever.
But who knows? Like, remember No Way Home? I thought when we were about to see it, I said, I think this movie is just a way for Andrew Garfield and Toby to say goodbye, since both of their things were kind of left, like, you know, just like a for.
and I
that's
think
what
it
always
was.
thought.
They're not
Right,
coming
right.
back.
Yeah.
But then after it came out and made $1 billion,
Oh, yeah.
then they started talking about
No,
another
they,
movie.
no, they didn't start talking about
Oh,
it.
oh,
Fans
yeah,
started
fans
talking
started
about
talking
it.
about.
Fans started talking about it.
But yeah, so
Again, like I said, if he was like 5 years younger, if he hadn't been so adamant about the thing that I don't want to live like this anymore, I've done it for over 20 years. I want to do different things now because he's still, I mean, look, at 50, we're talking about like he's an old man at 55. He's still young,
Old man.
but he's young in the sense that he's got so many other things he can do now. But does he want to spend the next 10 years of his life spending 2.5 hours every day in the gym and having to eat 5 chicken breasts and not being able to eat pastries? And I don't think he wants to do that.
and you know what he should do if he does leave this? I have Real Steel 2, baby. The
Oh,
sequel
yeah.
to-
Get
Please,
Sean
Hugh.
Levy again. Go do Real Steel 2.
Please,
do some
Hugh.
dramas.
Yep.
Do some more musicals. Do whatever you want. Now, look, if I'm wrong about this, and again, this is just fan speculation. That's all I'm doing is fan speculation. So if I'm wrong about this, there won't be anybody happier about it than me. I would love for Hugh Jackman to drop me a note and say, just so you know, John, I just signed up to play Wolverine 4 more times over the next 6 years. Nobody will be happier about that than me. I will freaking pop bottles. Here we go. Here we go. I'll be so happy. I'll be thrilled. I'm just saying, let's be realistic,
It's
guys.
gotta end on a high note.
Yeah, I think this is the way to go out.
Yeah.
I think if this movie's as good as they're saying it is, we'll see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think that this is our final farewell to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? He came out of retirement so he could say goodbye with Deadpool in a Marvel film. Or do you believe, like Forbes is pointing out, making some really good points, that no, this is just a natural progression. He's going to continue to be Wolverine. He's going to be Marvel's Wolverine. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.